Hello, my lovelies. I have ambulances and fire trucks going by. I don't know if you'll hear them or not. Welcome back if you are returning to our beautiful crime family here at 1111. Excuse me, forgive me. And if you're new, welcome in, lovely. Get comfortable. We're a safe place. Be respectful. You'll feel right at home. I'm going to grab a drink and mute for a minute and cough. By the way, I'm not AI, I'm real, and we are alive. So, real life, right? Flesh and blood. We're talking about Lilly and Jack Sullivan today. I also did a video on the three Decker girls, and Travis Decker is still not found. Lot of good information in that last video I did. Be sure and check it out if you haven't. All right, my loves. So, I want to give a big shout out to It's a Criming Shame, who has, well, they're Canada based and their YouTube channel, and they have connected, if you will, with some of Lilly and Jack's family. They've actually had text conversations allegedly between them and Daniel, which I've shared, um, as well as they've gotten new texts and they've given us the right to share them. So thank you for that. But this texting is between the mother of Lilly and Jack, Malaya, on the very first day they're missing through till part of the second day starts when on the 3rd of May, all of a sudden the mother cuts out. Malaya just cuts out, right? She's at that meeting and she cuts out. So let me back everything up a little bit, rewind, in case you're not familiar with Lilly and Jack Sullivan, who are 4 and 6-year-old beautiful children. And they went missing in Nova Scotia on the 2nd of May. We don't know for sure what has happened. There's been nothing, like no trace. They have a boot line, I'm sorry, a boot print on the gas line that they don't know if it's even Lilly or Jack's or what, but that's all they had. So they went back and did another search there. What happened was Lilly and Jack's parental package, the mother, biological mother, and what they call the stepdad, but they were only together for 3 years. He's basically a boyfriend. They have a child between them, plus they have Lilly and Jack, who are the moms. So we're going to have a three-way here because you got to remember, Malaya in this texting is actually talking to the bio dad's mother. So Lilly and Jack's paternal, meaning father's side, mother. So the grandma on the dad's side. And we're not going to learn a great deal. However, there is something that Malaya says and that she has reason to believe about. And I want to know, what is this reason to believe? Right? Because we have nothing in this case. It's like this 4 and 6-year-old are last seen at around 8 a.m. according to dispatch. And the stepdad or boyfriend is allegedly laying in bed with mom, and they have an 18-month-old baby, 16-month-old baby. Well, now 17 months because the children have been missing a month and a few days now. So they're laying in bed. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. The boyfriend only works 1 day a week, but they're in bed at 10 o'clock in the morning. These kids are not going to school. They haven't been in school since Tuesday. The last time they were seen by the bus drivers, Tuesday night. However, we have heard from authorities that these children were seen with family members in public on May 1st, the day before they were reported missing. However, we never know when these kids go missing. By 6 o'clock the morning that they are reported missing, the mother has already allegedly contacted the school through the switchboard, which probably means she was able to leave a message. Yes, they have Wi-Fi. That's how I know, is because the RCMP had stated in one of their things that they released that the router of the family home was being checked to see who connected and who didn't and so forth around the time that the kids went missing. Now they're living in a very rural area, and I'm going to tell you it's a squalor. Hold on just a minute. Are you dreaming or are you okay? Okay, Jack was dreaming. My dog. It's not like he was choking, but I guess he's chasing a rabbit in his head. Like I said, real life. All right, so this property has a makeshift fence around some sort of a little trailer and a camper. The camper doesn't even have a roof. It's just like plastic bags over the top of it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being poor, but why do you have beautiful four-wheelers and fancy watches, and yet your kids' toys are filthy, sitting out there with muddy water, just whatever, and stagnant, and an old mattress laying by the middle of the, you know what I'm saying. It don't look like they're really making it safe for the children to play. Part of an electrical appliance is laying in the play yard, right? Whether that's an oven or a stove, I don't know. Maybe it's a dishwasher or a washer. It's all apart, pieces laying here and there, garbage piled up. It's just not truly fit for children to safely play in. And this redundancy of the parents suggesting that they're with these kids every minute, using the word supervised, always with them, always watching them, has red flags being thrown all over for me. Because it's suggesting that they weren't watching the kids all the time. But we're going to get into it. So, forgive me, it's been a really busy week on true crime. Let's go ahead and get this on the screen so that we can go through it. Again, thank you to Crying Shame for It's a Crying Shame channel for sharing this information with us. We are grateful and thankful. Do I have an alliance with the parents to treat them kindly? No, because of the idea that they could have prevented this by, really supervising the children. So if you're laying in bed, but you said you're, the stepdad, the boyfriend is saying that Lilly had come into the room several times, you're well aware the children are up. So if you always watch them, obviously that's a lie because you haven't even laid eyes on Jack, who's only 4 and in a pull-up. So you're not always watching them. And so therefore, I have a lot of suspicion around the mother. I know I also have a lot of suspicion around Daniel. I think it could have been a package deal. In my own thoughts, I'm worried. I have a lot of concerns. It's been over a month. We haven't seen these kids. I mean, those are some short little legs, and they're carrying a backpack, which I found out, according to It's a Crying Shame channel, that backpack Lilly was carrying was for toys, not for school. So it was her toy backpack. And I also learned that Jack has a hard time going through the woods. He's slow. He don't do good in the woods, according to the mother. All right. So with all this going on, we're learning also that the mother has postpartum depression, allegedly, and it's worsening with online speculation. However, she's not doing herself any favors because she didn't even go to the community vigil of prayers for Lilly and Jack Sullivan, her flesh and blood children. Didn't show her face, didn't send nothing, didn't send a message, did nothing. Dead silence over there and lawyered up. Ain't been looking for no kids. So there's a lot of speculation going on, and I'm doing some of it myself because it's hard not to, right? Let's get into this. Let's see what's the best view. Something about like that. So this is allegedly between Malaya, the mother, and the biological grandmother, right? The paternal grandmother. So if it's in blue and I'm reading it, it's the grandmother. If it's in gray, then it's Malaya. All alleged. I'm not the one that get these texts. I'm just grabbing it from over there and sharing it over here because I have something I want to show you, but I'll share it all. So this is May 2nd at 1:46 p.m. We have the message from Grandma saying, have you heard anything yet? Were they going to school? Please keep me updated. Malaya answers, no. I was keeping them home today because they were sick with a cold and they got outside the back door. So she's calling that slider a back door. And she says, we can't hear that door. And they got outside. They like exploring in the woods, and I think she means playing in the woods, under our supervision. Okay, stop. See, you wouldn't say that because you're saying what they like to do. So why would you add under our supervision? It's kind of like saying, my kid likes ice cream under my supervision. It doesn't fit. It's overkill. It's unnecessary information. So there's quite a few of these little, like, what the heck moments. Malaya, the mother, goes on to say, I just can't believe this is actually happening right now. I never thought they would run off on me like that. Okay. I'm so distraught. I know people are going to be like, you're picking the words to death. That's what I do here. I look at everything as a clue. When your kids are missing and it's been 32 days and you haven't even went to the vigil, I'm looking at you. And so are a lot of people, including law enforcement, I assure you. Action speaks louder than words, but words speak loudly too. And when you state, didn't think they'd run off on me like that, that is ownership of responsibility. And it's putting blame on the children rather than taking the accountability and owning up to you not having your eyes on your children. You feel me? Hey, Archer and the Empress said the mom has always tried to sell a story, in my opinion. Now, remember, it's our opinion. She says to me more than the stepdad. I think mom knows exactly what happened to those children. I fear you are right. I fear that. Hey, the crow. Hey, Nick. Oh, for real. Good point, Nick. It's a wonder they didn't step on nails in the backyard, right? Now they don't even have their coats on, and it's rainy and chilly. All right, let's continue. We got to get through this. So that whole I never thought they would run off on me like that is a big deal to me because it is saying that she is taking the blame on them. They ran off on her, right? That's not cool. She says, I'm so distraught. Now, this is Grandma. She says, you must be worried sick. Let me know anything at any time. Malaya says, I will. And yes, I know. I can't read y'all. I will. And yes, I am. I don't know what to do. And then she says, Grandma says, are your neighbors close at all? Which is interesting, right? Which is very interesting because I'm all about the neighbor too. And it's one of the first thing, are the neighbors close? In other words, do they have access? And we've all seen that house up there on Google, and there's that logging path that goes right through the woods that seems to lead, it appears by all rational logic, to lead right towards their property. So I don't know, but Grandma's got the right idea. I think that would be one of your first thoughts. And then Malia says, no, too close. We live on Garlich Road. Grandma says, I heard they are bringing in other teams to search. So hoping they're home soon. Malaya says, I hope so too. They've been missing since 9:40. They like to wander a lot. Okay. Why tuck that in there so neatly? It's almost as if, wandering, do you wander with your children? Or is she admitting here that they do wander off from time to time? And this is the one time she didn't find them right away. I don't know. Like I said, maybe you think I read too much into this. The whole thing, they like to wander a lot. That's concerning. Okay, let's go to page 2. The grandma says you want to demand more searchers. Mother says we have a big search team right now and more coming. They also want info about Cody, which is the bio father, because he doesn't see them. The police do. And then the grandma says, God, I wish I lived closer. Mom says, yes, I know. We have drones, dogs, and helicopters. Grandma says, that's not a problem. They can call me too. Malaya says, okay, I might get you on the phone with the police. Grandma says, okay. She asks, have you heard anything yet? Now, this is at 3:59 p.m. on May 2nd, the day the reported missing. Grandma says, have you heard anything yet? Are locals allowed to search too? Did they have coats or boots on? Do you know? Mom says, not yet. They have boots on. And Lilly has her white backpack on with strawberries, and she should be in pink, and Jack in dark colored clothes. Jack has dino boots. Lilly has pink boots. And then Grandma asks, we're going to page 3. Let me switch this up. Let's see if I go to this. Yeah, then I can read the top. And then I'm blocked. I'll just go off screen for a minute. No, yet they have boots. Okay, and then the grandma says, do they have coats? And Mom says, no, they didn't put their coats on. And I'm going to have to go up here to read this one. The grandma says, OMG, they must be so cold. That's what I expected to hear from the parents. It's just that whole, oh my God, what are the children feeling right now? But it was always with Daniel, it was always about how he's feeling. He's tired, he's exhausted because he did this, he did that. It's always this showboat, right? To make sure everybody sees him as the hero. With Malaya, I'm not even going to pay attention to anything anywhere. I'm just not going to show my face. And I get it. If she's got postpartum depression, she might be on a living watch where they're watching her. And that could be why she couldn't go to the vigil. But she had postpartum before they went missing is also huge red flags for these children, if you follow me. We've had some Susan Smiths out there that also, well, yeah. Okay. Are they allowing anyone else to search? Asked Grandma. Mom says, you're welcome to come search with people. However, the search and rescue don't want too many others in the woods because they are going by protocol. Many are suspecting they were picked up by someone. I wonder who are many? Her family? And she says, because there is no trace of them or Lily's backpack. Grandma asks, did the dogs pick up a scent at all? Mom says no. Grandma says, do they go out? Do they go out to the road? Mom says, normally no, but if they were in the front yard and someone stopped and convinced them to come over, they would go. They don't understand stranger danger. And then it says the police want to really broaden. Let's go to the next one. Oh, we don't get that one, or do we? Okay, it's a double, there it is. Really want to broaden their search and plug highways that should have been done first thing. I don't know what plug highways means. Maybe, stop cars like a check Charlie. Malaya says, yes, we are telling them that because they should have been found by now. Jack has trouble going through the woods. Jack has trouble going through the woods. That's, I don't think they're in the woods, y'all. I don't think if Jack has trouble going through the woods that he's going to want to go through the woods, right? That's wild. And she goes on to say, not only does Jack have trouble going through the woods, she says, and normally they don't go out of the yard. Grandma says, I'm so sorry. I'm sick to my stomach. Malaya says, I know I'm sick and scared and don't know what to do. I feel helpless. Grandma says, I do too. Try and stay positive. Malaya says, I'm thinking nothing but positive. I want my babies home. Now, maybe things changed by the next day when she gave her interview where she said she was, moms think the worst always, because that's a contradiction, but we'll go with it. Now, this is May 2nd at 9:09 p.m. in the evening or late at night, of the same first day. And Grandma says, hi, honey, do the police have any ideas yet? We will be up tomorrow to help with the search. So they're coming in, right? And then let's go this way for a little bit. The only bloodhound in Nova Scotia is out looking for them, and they have a better chance of finding them because they track their scent. Now, does she mean that the bloodhound will track scent or that they did track the scent? Because it's understanding that they did track the scent, but it went to the edge of the property. And then she says, Grandma says, whoops, I skipped a place. Let me reread that one. The only bloodhound in Nova Scotia is out looking for them, and they have a better chance at finding them because they track their scent. Thank you, Belinda. And there's your confirmation that it is the grandma. Any help is best. I'm so scared, worried, and I don't know what to do. All right. Then grandma says, I know, stay strong. A lot of people are doing their very best and keeping them in their prayers. What is your house number, right? And then she answers, I'm praying and praying. I want my babies home. I'm so sick. And then she gives the address. Grandma says, I'll see you tomorrow. You have family with you, I hope. And Malaya says, yes, everyone is here, even people I never thought would be here. That's a big red flag. And I know somebody's going to be like, Mama D, you're picking it apart. Why would you think anybody would be there? Why would you think this would ever happen? I told you, I see everything very important to me in the way they think. Good, something more people. Good, the more people, right? And then let's see, we can move it to here. The more people here, okay, I don't know, something stopped between these two, but it says he doesn't have a phone. They can contact me. So she was asking at that point, and I missed something, but that is about Cody and he's the bio dad that doesn't see the children. Malaya says, okay, I gave them your number. Is he there now? Meaning the bio dad. She said, yes, he is in his room. So bio dad lives with his mother. Malaya says, okay, I have reason. Now pay attention to me. Listen to what the mama says. This is very, very important. I have reason to believe. So there is something that she is aware of She has a reason to believe this. I, meaning Malaya, I have reason to believe that they may have been taken by someone. What is her reason to believe that? I would love to know. They should have been found. They should have found them by now if they were in the woods, she says. My golly. Are you guys feeling me? I agree with you, Julie. Either something may have happened in the home or the children were taking the car, in my opinion. Hey, Debbie Gazzardo. Hey, Al Henry. Good to see you. Connie Waddle, you agree? You think they were taken by car? All right. Well, you could be right. The sons don't lead anywhere. All right. Let me get that overlaid down. We'll go down here. If they were in the woods. Okay, Grandma says, I am thinking the same thing. That's why I think they should have issued an Amber Alert. Yes, says Malaya, I want an Amber Alert issued. They told me they were sending one out at 2 p.m. yesterday. Grandma says they only put out alert for vulnerable missing person. And we got to move our overlay, chase it around. By your way, it should have been Amber Province White. She says, yes, I agree completely. Grandma then responds, says, so the bloodhound didn't find anything? And Malaya says, no, not a thing. Grandma says, are they still searching the woods? Yes, says Mom, but no helicopter or drones or dogs till the morning. So this is all they had was a bloodhound on the first day, allegedly. And it rained. So that wasn't playing in the benefit of the kids either. All right. So then Grandma says, okay, we are headed out. And something about, being up tomorrow to help. Malaya says, thank you. And Grandma says, see you then. See you then, says Malaya. This is the following day. So we're into day 2 of the kids being missing. Only 24 hours after 911 is called, in a few minutes, right? May 3rd. And I can't see this good, but it has something to do with the boot print that they found. And Malaya copied it, and I can't see what it is. I can't see what it says. It just says a police dog handler something. I don't know. You might have to go to It's a Crying Shame, a Crying Shame channel to see what that is, because I didn't grab it good enough. So then Grandma continues to talk, but you can see there's nothing from Malaya after that moment. So that does align with the idea that once her mom got there, like Logan's saying, like Daniel's saying, 5 minutes alone with Malaya's mom, and she shut down, including this conversation. You don't see her answering. So Grandma goes on to say, how is everything? Any news whatsoever? Did the prints pan out? Or are they thinking something else? And then she texts, I think they just put out an Amber Alert, which no, I don't think they did. And then she asked on the following day at 8:00 in the morning, does your mother-in-law live in that little trailer beside you with the dog inside? And then she asked later that day at 3:37, still not getting a response from Malaya. She says, I hope you're not upset with me about Lily's communication. I just want people to see how vulnerable these kids are. I just don't understand why some people are so upset about this. It doesn't matter what their skills are, or are they not. They need to be found. And then let me move the overlay again. She comes back at 9:00 on May 4th, and she says, just saw Daniel's post. We're headed there tomorrow to help with the search. And that be it. But what is it that Malaya feels that there is reason? What is her reason? How does she have reason to believe that someone took the kids? What? That's got me baffled. That's why I came to you guys. What do you guys think? What is this about? What does she mean? And why didn't she go to the vigil, right? Oh, that's a great question. Good to see you, Prime Candy. Why did neither of them say the children's name? Yeah, good question. Ocean Deep says Daniel just looks like he is doing as he is told, like a gopher. Go for this, go for that. You get me? No, I think Daniel's working the narrative. Hi, Claire Lewis. Good to see you. Maybe the backsliding Dirks. Okay, I'm gonna correct it. Maybe the backsliding doors were shut when they had time. Remind the children, just shut the door. I can't read that, honey. Retype it, please. Are you meaning why was it shut? Um, if they always had to be reminded, is that what you mean? Chat is flying, so bear with me. Hey, Tama. Someone tired of seeing no supervision or the mom's medical condition didn't feel it was safe to keep them there. Ooh, thank you for sharing your theory. We thought about that. We've compared this to like the Summer Wells case, and that was definitely a thought. Is that maybe somebody from the church felt like they were saving Summer from her life? So I kind of get that's what you're saying. Like somebody saw the kids and thought, well, they're not being loved, they're not being cared for, so we'll taking care for them. Well, they're in a lot of trouble when they get found out if they did do that. A lot of people have brought this up, Amanda. Let me see if I can set up a little higher so that you can see me. I'll sit on my knee. Amanda's content says, could it be possible that her family took them and now got the mom out of the house because we know her family didn't like Daniel? Here's the deal. I don't buy that in the least because Daniel had no legal rights to either of those two children, only legal right to the baby. And so Malaya could have picked up and walked out of there with them kids anytime. And if she was fearful, it's a reservation. Daniel can't go on it. So if she didn't even tell him, she was just like needing out of there. She could have easily said she was going to go to the grocery store and had her mom meet her in that public place and left with her mom then. Obviously, she left right there with her mom. Why couldn't she have left with her mom 10 days earlier when she had the children present with her? So I personally do not think that the children were taken and hidden on the reservation or any of that. But maybe it's true. I don't think so, though. I just feel she could have done that anyway. Ah, Manda's content has a lovely smile, says Essex Boys. Oh, she does too. Thank you. She really does. So it is concerning when you think of postpartum depression and how it can wreak havoc, right? And if Malaya's going through that, and she was going through that prior, it makes you wonder how early those kids got up. And maybe she got up before Daniel even, because she's the one that made the call at 6 in the morning. I think it was 6:17 and 6:18 to the school switchboard and said, neither kid's coming because Lily's got a cough. So she was up that early. Had she gotten up way earlier or Was she up all night? Did something happen that night? Did she get up with the kids in the middle of the night and take them somewhere? I don't know. I just want them found. I want them found so much. Okay. Unchained Melody has got a good point. You say it is common to hide domestic violence victims on the reservation. All right. I think we would have heard by now if there was any DV being filed anywhere online. I don't know that there was any DV noted. However, even if it was never reported, we know it can still be very, very bad. Think of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, right? DV could play a part. I don't know. That's a great question, Mary Dalmatian. I wonder if the kid's mom was getting any help for her mental health. That, I feel, is the crux of what has occurred. I do not know. I pray that she's getting a lot of help now. Talk says, okay, let's read this. A friend in my friend's circle from high school drove her baby out to a local park in the 80s and left her baby under a bridge by a stream, and she spent 8 years in prison. OMG. Yeah, it does happen. And we have the brother there, Daniel's brother there, and nobody's ever talking about him, right? Logan, the cousin's getting on there and doing interviews, just backing Daniel and making Daniel out to be the one that's doing all the searching, and that Malaya just shut down and didn't want anything to do with anybody. But at the same time, we never hear Logan or Daniel talk about the mother or the brother. Why? They were on property. The children could have been seen by one of them. We wouldn't know it. Viv says, I didn't like the way he was staring at Lilly while she was screeching in that birthday video. I've heard that a lot. A lot of people feel strongly about that. Who knows? I mean, when it comes to that party, I don't believe a dang thing that neighbor post said. I think that neighbor post is a hoax. I really do. My gut tells me something ain't right. Like, that was somebody wanting to make Daniel and Malaya look guilty. And I don't know who that is. I find it suspicious. But it does beg the question, like Amanda's asking. So, was there actually a party the night before? I wish I knew. Daniel's like, it's ridiculous. But when anybody says something that's utterly ridiculous or whatever, I always think that they're protesting too much. Like, they could be like, no, we did not have a party. That would have been fine. But they have to go overboard and they have to be extreme about it and be like, make like this discredit. You'd be crazy to believe it. That's when there's a problem, because this man works 1 day a week and he's supposed to support a family of 5 on that without any other means. So it does make you logically think to yourself, how is money coming into that property? Who is feeding these babies? Connie Waddle says, I have a question. Don't you have the postpartum depression when you have a baby? You're not allowed to go home from the hospital until you get over it. Am I right? That's incorrect. I mean, if you have it while you're in the hospital, sure, absolutely. But postpartum can happen. The baby can be a year old, and it can kick in, and all of a sudden you have it. So yes, you're right. Because if you're in the hospital, and it depends on the hospital, to be honest, sometimes they just give you a referral. I do know in Wisconsin, they'll come in and do a mental health evaluation if you show any signs of postpartum depression. Yes, 1 day a week at a sawmill. See, and that's what a lot of people wonder. Could he have been dealing rugs? And so why is it so ridiculous for people to ask if there was a party the day before? I don't think it's ridiculous. And for Daniel to be like, it's ridiculous, it's nonsense. It's just overkill. He could have just said, no, there was no party the day before. But Sun Cycle, hello, you said if it was the night before, maybe it wasn't a party, but it was a relative gathering to do with the children. I wondered that too. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe that neighbor isn't a hoax. Maybe they thought it was a party, but it was actually something that happened that evening with the children, and the whole family of Daniels was like, what do we do now? That I would love to know. I do not have the answer, Essex boys, but thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. I would love to know what day of the week Daniel works. It was not Friday. I know that because he was in bed. I feel you, OD. You said lose one kid. Yeah, you find, but you lose two kids is foul play, in my opinion. Al Henry says, I wonder if they both were into something that involved bad people and they gotten themselves too deep. Just a thought, that's all. I've wondered that too. My concern is this. I feel this is just I'm gonna end it here real quick with just my humble question. All right. Is it possible? I'm just asking. Is it possible that with postpartum depression, something went terribly wrong with Malaya and the kids early in the wee hours of the morning before 6? And then Daniel is covering for her and may have helped get rid of evidence or so forth because they put themselves so tied together that there's not even wiggle room, but that yet they're suspicious of each other. Right now, they're starting to throw shade towards the other. And it's almost as if Malaya and Daniel had a pact. They were together. Yes, I felt safest with Daniel. And soon as mom gets there, all of a sudden Malaya's like, bye. She didn't even do that. She didn't even give a bye. She just was like, gone. Poof. So I don't know. Maybe neither involved. Maybe all this guilty behavior that they're displaying is because they were not watching those kids. The only way we're going to know is if somebody leaks, cracks, or evidence is shown or these kids are found. So I want to say a prayer for Lily and Jack to be found. Also, would like you to help me pray that Travis Decker is found. He is the father that ended the life of the three little girls over in Washington, and he's at large. So I want him found, right? Also, Jay Slater is going to have a secondary, if you will, a follow up to the inquest. It's not complete. We have a reprieve right now where everybody can work together. I'm asking, put your energy. If you ever were paying attention to Jay Slater, put your energy and your love into your prayers that we are able to get the truth known at the inquest, whatever the truth for Jay is. Those are my prayers. Now, I promise you I would do a Madeline McCann video next or a live, but I'm actually going to postpone it because I want to make sure I'm coming at it with fresh energy. And true crime is very heavy, and I've done two videos, two very, very seriously heavy cases of little bitty children. Three children, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, ages 9, 8, and 5, are no more. And I'm covering that case over there. They've got new ring footage. He's on the loose. Mom spoke out through a lawyer. Make sure to go watch that video. The GoFundMe is up to $1 million over there, and rightly so. This is devastating over there. I pray for Lily and Jack, and I thank you very much for tuning in. And I hope that you will tune in again tomorrow with me. And we'll be over on the Mama D channel. We're going to be doing a Madeline McCann live over there. New information. Plus, there's something I want to talk to you about that just, to me, it's quite obvious, but I could be wrong too. I just want to get my opinion and my thoughts out there. We have somebody that making a claim that they know all about what plans were being made a week before Madeline went missing. And the guy was crying that he needed cash. So it's going to get wild tomorrow. We'll talk about it together over there. There's more of an interactive live, so I'll be getting your feedback too. And it is definitely new information in the Madeline McCann case. With that being said, my call to action is that prayer for Jay Slater, on the inquest, for Travis Decker to be found, and for Lilly and Jack Sullivan to be found. I love you guys, to the moon and back. Thank you for everything, and see you again very soon.